Hormones affect the way we feel, how we look, and how well we age. As many as 1 in 4 women suffer from hormonal disorders that are undiagnosed or poorly treated. In this program, we will hear from 3 of the nation's leading experts on hormonal health, on how we balance our hormones and be vibrant for life by using simple movement techniques, eating the foods that we need, and taking control of our health. Join New York Times best-selling author Mary Schulman, muscle activation expert and author Teresa Tapp, and hormone specialist Dr. Sarah Gottfried in Vibrant for Life.
Well, I think women have a tremendous amount of power, and they don't always realize it. They don't always claim it. They don't own it. They don't know that they even have it.
Recently, over 100 women came together from all over the United States to participate in a weekend-long program on hormonal health and learn more about how to look and feel great.
I never really had a lot of weight issues, growing up, but as I started into perimenopause, the weight just seemed to come on and it couldn't come off. And there were many times where it felt like an outer body experience, that you no longer had control of your body.
The ability to reclaim your vibrancy and passion, there's just no substitute. And Teresa Tapp and her workout sessions have changed my life. It was a godsend to me to find her, because I knew I was going down the wrong path.
I'm not where I need to be at. It's a journey. It's not something that happens overnight. It doesn't happen in a weekend or even 60 days. I didn't get here in 60 days, and it's not going to go away in 60 days. This program has allowed me to see, though, that it is a quick reversal and you can take control back of your life.
The thyroid.
Mary Schulman is a researcher and author of several best-selling books on hormonal health. She began her quest for knowledge about hormones when she herself experienced the effects of hormonal imbalance and found a lack of information or focus in mainstream healthcare and literature. Since then, she has made it her mission to demystify hormone health by condensing the known research into simpler facts.
Everything that happens physiologically in your body depends on the thyroid working properly. So you start to think, wait a minute, that means it's an important part. It's absolutely fundamental to everything from your hair growing, to your digestion, to your heart and brain health, to your fingernails, to your fertility, and to your sex drive as well. So one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that 60 million Americans have a thyroid problem in the United States alone. The vast majority of them are, no surprise, women. And the vast majority of those women with thyroid disease, undiagnosed. So we have millions and millions of women running around the United States dealing with a health condition that they don't even know that they have.
So many times I meet people who really don't have a sense of self. They're disconnected. They don't even know who they are anymore, or even what their passion is anymore. And when somebody's soul searching, and usually they're coming to me to fit into a particular jean size, a clothing size, because they focus so much on the outside. But T-Tapp, the workout, is much more than a workout to fit into jeans. It really is a rebuilding of the body from the inside out.
There were so many things about myself I didn't know, and that was an internal struggle. That internal struggle created a physical struggle. And when that physical struggle took its toll, I literally started shutting down. I mean, I went to a very dark place. It was rough.
Teresa Tapp is a muscle activation specialist. She first developed T-Tapp workouts in Europe to help athletes and fashion models to build lean muscle tissue by activating groups of muscles simultaneously without the use of exhausting exercises.
See, as a muscle activation specialist, I love teaching people how to create muscle activation, how to maximize your muscle activation on the inside so that you get faster results on the outside. And I have not done anything but T-Tapp for 35 years. I haven't done any weights. I haven't done any jogging. I haven't done anything but T-Tapp, and usually a 15-minute or 25-minute workout 3 times a week. I love to eat. I love to drink, now in moderation. But I like good food, not fake food. I don't diet. I tell other people, don't diet, move it. Bend it, tuck it, lift it, yes you can.
T-Tapp activates muscles and the lymphatic system to release toxins and lower blood sugar without strenuous exercise.
A lot of the meds caused weight gain, and a lot of them didn't work well together. So they made me gain 100 pounds in 3 months, and that stretched the skin like no other. And when a doctor tells you you're never going to be able to get tight skin again, that's really upsetting, especially being young and in the 20s. It's really hard to hear that, you know. But I'm not cursed with that skin. I do know now that with Teresa Tapp's lymphatic skin brushing techniques, the skin can tighten up, and it does, and it will. And the stretch marks are fading, and that's phenomenal.
That leverage activation will literally start burning away fat reserves, because when you optimize your posture, you optimize your body's ability to burn fat. I've been on so many TV shows where they say, you can't just get rid of back fat. In fact, I remember it was Dr. Oz, and I've been on a radio show with Dr. Oz. We did Oprah radio show, and so he's very intrigued with the lymphatic system. And I was also with Dr. Nicholas Perricone, because I'm in one of his books, and he is, like, in my opinion, the one who started it all about the importance of inflammation. That inflammation is the precursor to disease. Prior to that, it was viewed differently. And he knows, he said, T-Tapp is the workout that helps eliminate inflammation, whereas so many exercise programs can increase inflammation. And it's because I'm using full fiber muscle activation and incorporating the lymphatic system. And when you use full fiber, you squeegee, you help your body use that lymph system to eliminate. And that's why so many people who have different autoimmune health issues can do T-Tapp and not be flat out.
T-Tapp requires only minutes of exercise at a time. Because of its low intensity, it can be used by women with even limited physical capabilities.
Actually, I didn't discover T-Tapp until my 7th pregnancy. And from the 3rd on, I had to wear the maternity girdle the entire pregnancy because my stomach muscles were so weak. And so when I discovered T-Tapp during my 7th pregnancy, I was so excited to see the transformation in my stomach muscles, because I was able to go the entire pregnancy with strong muscles and never having to wear that maternity girdle.
T-Tapp workouts are as easy to do as it is to work on good posture.
You know, so many times when people hear posture, they just think of standing tall, bones are in alignment, but it's so much more. Posture, yes, centers on that spine. But when your body is aligned mentally, physically, spiritually, it creates a harmonious balance from head to toe to fingertip. And with that, then you think better, your heart beats better, your digestive system works better, your hormones are healthy, and then you can be vibrant. You know you feel better, and when you feel better, you look better.
Since I've been T-tapping, I'm not having hot flashes, I'm sleeping through the night, I'm sleeping really well. I don't have the up and down mood swings that most people going through menopause do. And it's what I can always tell too, if I've slacked off for a couple of weeks and I haven't been doing my T-Tapp, I can always tell, because I feel sluggish and I'm tired, and I do tend to get hot, and so it really does help keep me in balance.
How many of you feel sexier now than you did 10 years ago? Raise your hand. Fantastic.
After graduating from Harvard and MIT with degrees in science and medicine, researcher and author Dr. Sarah Gottfried also came to the hormone field by way of personal experience. After giving birth to her first child, she developed serious hormonal symptoms that led her on a quest for the answers to her health questions.
I believe we have an epidemic of hormone imbalance in this country. Most of it driven by unmanaged stress, and it's being treated with exactly the wrong things. We know that 25% 1 in 4 women is taking a drug in this country for mental health reasons. We know that 26% of women between the ages of 40 and 55 are taking an antidepressant. But here's the thing. Many of those women who are on the antidepressant have a hormone imbalance. Many of them have thyroid issues, as Mary described. One of the key symptoms of your thyroid not working, this beautiful gland in your neck, when it's not working, sometimes your mood falters and you feel cranky. Some women have adrenal burnout. They're overwhelmed. They're tired but wired. And they're being treated with an antidepressant. Antidepressants are only proven to be effective if you have severe depression.
So I started researching about the thyroid, and that's when I found Mary's website. And I knew I needed to move because I was an ex-ballet dancer. I was used to dancing 18 hours a day. I was used to performance. I was used to moving, but I couldn't move. I knew I needed to move. I mean, that gave me the information about the thyroid and how to talk to my doctors better, which it was important too, because at that time, nobody was talking about the thyroid.
Then there's the issue of those of you who've had the test and been told you're normal. Well, this is a very big controversy right now because the doctors that are going by this kind of, well, you're normal, don't worry about it, you don't have a thyroid problem, are going by what's known as the TSH test, which is the thyroid stimulating hormone test. TSH is just one measurement of what's going on in your thyroid. There are many different ways to evaluate the thyroid gland. And the strangest thing of all is that even among the most conservative doctors out there, they don't even agree what TSH is normal and which one constitutes a thyroid problem. So we've got doctors out there, if you get a thyroid test, TSH, the range typically goes from 0.5 to around 5. Above 5 would be hypothyroid, where the thyroid is slowing down. We have doctors, if you have a 4.8 TSH level, some doctors are going to say, well, you're perfectly normal, even if you do have a goiter the size of a basketball and you're exhausted and you have a family history and you're tired and you've gained 50 pounds in the last 3 months. You have other doctors, you walk across the hall with the same blood test results, that doctor's going to say to you, oh yeah, you're hypothyroid, let's get you treated and get you on some medication.
Dr. Sarah and Mary have presented an advocacy that I've never seen before. I've sort of been on my own, doing my own research at times, but to understand that there is a whole group of people that are actually there, willing and able, and looking for us in advance to help us find those solutions, opens up new doors of hope that there can be something at the end of this journey.
Cortisol, the main stress hormone, estrogen, which is the main sex hormone in women, testosterone in men, and also your thyroid. So those 3 hormones are the ones that really drive your mood, your sex drive, your sense of sexiness, your weight and metabolism, and also your energy. So I think about defining over time, what are the levels that best suit you? Rather than a one-size-fits-all, which is what we have in conventional medicine, I think it's so important to figure out what supports you to make you feel your best in those realms.
Cortisol is the main stress hormone. You heard a lot about it from Mary tonight. And I'm going to get into some details about it, but cortisol in itself is not bad. It's just that so many of us, myself included, run around with cortisol sky high. We're stressed out. We're running around like a chicken with our head cut off. So the problem with cortisol is that if it's too high or too low, if it's not in that lovely Goldilocks position of just right, if it's too high for too long, you can then burn out production. And when it's too low, that's when you just feel tired all the time. So too high, tired but wired. If you run around with a high cortisol, it can make you over time cranky, fat, and it can hijack your sex drive. It does many other things too. Now, this is a serious issue. We know that in terms of brain chemistry, if you run around with a high cortisol, you're going to burn through all the happy brain chemicals that you make, including serotonin. Serotonin's that lovely gatekeeper in your brain that is in charge of not just mood, but also your sleep and your appetite. You can also start to deplete dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter in charge of your pleasure and satisfaction. So it's so important that we manage cortisol. In fact, I would say manage your cortisol as aggressively as you manage your retirement plan. I think this is so important. I call this the neurohormonal dashboard. I want you to manage your dashboard as if your life depends on it, because it does.
So inhale, hunch, lift ribs, release. Inhale, hunch, lift and release. And that hunch will help you get your shoulders back, get rid of the trap dominance, and be able to get that cortisol and get those healthy hormones.
So often we're told that, well, you're just getting older, or it's just menopause, and we're made to feel marginalized, and we're made to feel like it's all in our head. And so this kind of information is so important. One thing that stuck out to me was that it's simple steps and choices, that you don't have to have a ton of money, you don't have to completely give up everything to make yourself healthier, but it's a lot of smaller choices, the simple supplements, getting more sleep, the way you deal with stress. Those are the things that can make a huge difference.
So what I would say is, first of all, don't depend on anybody but yourself. Get out there, look at the research, ask questions, find people who have walked the same walk that you're trying to walk, but realize that we're all individuals, and every walk is different because every body reacts differently. And so you can't allow somebody else to tell you what you need to do. It needs to be a collaborative effort between you and your doctor, and you do need to move.
What about supplements? There's actually a few supplements that are proven to really make a difference when it comes to cortisol that is high, kind of out of control high. One is fish oil. Many of you know already fish oil is a good idea for about 5,000 reasons. Here's another one. I find so often that women who see me in my office in Berkeley know that fish oil is a good idea. They just don't really get around to taking it every day. They take it sometimes. But when you are managing your neurohormonal dashboard and you realize some of the genetic effects of how you're treating yourself, the onus is higher, I believe, to do some of these healthy habits, like taking your fish oil. A few others, phosphatidylserine. It's another supplement you can get from your health food store, shown to help lower cortisol levels. An herb, you have to be a little bit careful with herbs. I like for people to have a good diagnosis, maybe some laboratory testing before they start on any herbal therapies. Just like my great-grandmother said, where you don't find an answer to health in a pill bottle, I also don't think you find the answer to health in a supplement bottle. You want to meet the best biochemistry of an herb. And to do that, you need to do the groundwork, which I think is very important. So the herb that has been proven to lower cortisol is called rhodiola.
So there are going to be so many different things that we're going to be talking about tonight that you can start doing today that can make your transition into your 40s and 50s and beyond that much easier. It's going to make it, you're going to be able to be healthier, have more energy, and be sexy after 40. And who doesn't want that?
And I always thought I was confident, but when I got my clothes on, I didn't feel confident. And I really didn't want people to see me, and I would hide. And pictures, I would not be in pictures. So for me to be even doing this is phenomenal, because I would not have been in a photograph. I didn't want anybody to see me. But now I feel that it's not about the external as much as it is the internal. And I'm getting healthy on the inside. It's going to glow on the outside.
How do you find that expression for yourself when you know that you're reaching a dead end? And I'll cry a little bit here because I was at the dead end. I lost my father on Thanksgiving Day. I had to take care of my mother, who's in early dementia. And this was a whole life shift that impacted my life greatly. Talk about waking at 3 in the morning. I don't think I went to sleep most of the evenings.
So what's item number 2 on my list of 10 things for staying sexy after 40? Item number 2 is taking care of our adrenal health. So we've heard a lot of people throw the word adrenals. I got adrenal fatigue. My adrenals are shut down. My adrenals are messed up. We're hearing a lot about adrenals. We see a lot in magazines. We see a lot of information about it. But what are they? I bet some people in the room don't even know what the adrenals are. Well, the adrenals are tiny little glands. They are the shape of a peanut, and they sit above the kidneys. And the adrenals are your stress glands. They are the glands that are producing the hormones that allow us to basically survive on a day-to-day basis and to survive in very acute crises.
I would tell women who are feeling like their life is spiraled out of control and there's no hope for them that there absolutely is hope. And they don't have to well, it's more than hope. They don't have to hope it's going to happen. They can believe, they can know that their life can be different. And it only takes a little bit of time every day to make a big difference. 15 minutes a day, we can all squeeze 15 minutes a day in. We need to make ourselves a priority. We're so used to putting ourselves on the back burner and letting everybody else, be the thing we take care of, but we can't really take care of them if we don't take care of ourselves first.
So when I in the workout will say tuck tail, what I'm having you do is hand on belly, hand on back, and you're pushing both sides to push, tuck, curl. Tuck that tailbone, tuck, tail. So now you're going to feel muscle activation on the belly as well as in your back, because those muscles that attach in your lower back crisscross, and that's your core.
You've heard a lot about thyroid. It is the boss of your metabolism. It drives that flow of the way that you burn calories. We talked about its role with mood. We talked about its role with sex drive. So it's another one that you want on your team if you want to feel sexy as you get older. Third is estrogen. Estrogen is what makes you curvy, gives you hips and breasts, makes you flirty. And estrogen, as you probably know, has this tango with progesterone. You want this lovely tango between the two of them, where estrogen is the dramatic hormone with a lot of flair, and progesterone is the stable partner who supports the estrogen. And you want to have this balance between the two. But as we try to figure out how do we right size our estrogen, how do we get into that Goldilocks position and have that tango that we want between estrogen and progesterone, beets help. They help a lot. I mentioned that alcohol doesn't help so much. So my recommendation there that you've heard already is drink less, buy better wine. I think that's a good strategy. So more than 3 glasses per week. Slight increased risk of breast cancer. A supplement that's been shown to help with getting rid of the bad estrogens and also with making the good estrogens is fiber. So here's the problem with fiber. The average American woman gets about 14 grams of fiber a day. You need about 35 to 40 grams a day to be moving the estrogen through your system. So what we want with estrogen is we want to use it and then lose it. And the problem is we hang on to the bad estrogens too long. That's part of the estrogen dominance. Hooray for T-Tapp as a way of working with that.
By just keeping ribs up, you help get rid of this little pudge here. You get perkier pecs. More important, healthy breast tissue. And along with it, if everything's perky, don't you feel sexier?
I went through a difficulty when I stopped being mom. All 5 of my children grew up. At the same time, I couldn't walk because I had multiple physical ailments. I was either on a cane, a walker, or a wheelchair. I have a service dog to help me with diabetes. And still, I didn't think I had lost control. I just thought I was doing what everybody else did, getting older.
We're wives, we're mothers, we're friends, we're workers, we're bosses, we're employees, we're members of the PTA. There's so many different roles and responsibilities that we have, and everyone wants something from us. And when we can't say yes to everyone, we feel guilty. So we tend to say yes far too often.
Women are wired neurologically to over-provide, to people please, to accommodate. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Yes, we do this. Unless we get really clear about it. And here's the good news about turning 40 and getting older, is that you do that less and less and less. You realize all that accommodating you're doing is actually burning out those cute little adrenal glands that you have on top of your kidneys. You've been pumping out the cortisol too much. Someone said today that very few women don't have adrenal burnout, right? And I think it's the way that we're wired. We are wired to give and give and give until we drop.
The realization that I needed to take care of myself came at age 47 when I had let myself become over 100 pounds overweight. I'm the mother of a very large family. I have 12 children. We've homeschooled for 26 years, so I've obviously been giving and giving to my family. And my two oldest children were both engaged to be married, and so the thought of going to this wedding and walking down the aisle in front of people wearing a size 22, that was a change for me.
We also want to look at diet, limiting processed foods, limiting those toxins, pesticides, going organic whenever possible. Minimizing the amount of toxins that we're putting into our body is going to help with that adrenal stress as well. And we also want to make sure we're getting sleep, 7 to 8 hours a night. Because when you're dealing with adrenal fatigue, that is one of the most important things. Because remember, when is that cortisol and that rebuilding of those hormones coming on? It's happening at night when you're sleeping. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're not giving your body enough time to rebuild its stockpile of hormones. And by the way, that's also when the thyroid hormones are building up in the body, growth hormone, which helps you build muscle and stay lean, and the sex hormones as well. So that nighttime period is extremely important for our hormones. So we need to be getting those 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
These topics of adrenal fatigue, hormones, thyroid, they all seem like such a big mystery. And Mary Shimon and the doctor, they are wonderful in demystifying all these topics. And they are very important. I have had personal experiences with my physicians where I feel neglected by them. I feel like a number. I feel like one of a big crowd. And I haven't felt taken care of like I have felt with the information that they have given me here.
The way you eat, move, think, and supplement changes about 50 to 80% of the expression of your DNA. So you can really manage your DNA just with these lifestyle changes. That is phenomenal. That is your sacred opportunity. It is your divine responsibility to step up and own this. That is sexy. That is sexy.
I turned 50 this year, and I didn't like it at all. And I realized that there were a lot of things that I really wanted to change in my life, and a big part of that was my health. And so my dad actually had a massive stroke when he was 57. And so I knew that I have those genes. I knew that I had high cholesterol already. And turning that kind of benchmark age just really made me realize I had to do something. And so T-Tapp was easy for me because I can do it quickly. So it's 15 or 20 minutes, 3 times a week, and that really was what I did.
1, 2, 3, push feet. Feel those glutes and thighs. 1, 2, 3, lift toes. 1, 2, 3, lift ribs on your own. Now reach out with your hands. You're going to push in and drag back. So you already have your ribs up. You're already activating with your mind to muscle. 1, 2, 3, push and pull. Pretty cool. So as you're holding and pushing, 2, 3, 4, now think belly button to the spine by pulling and dragging. Feel that? Then push a little bit, ribs up. Oh my goodness, we have the most perfect thoracic duck activation. Inhale big here. Exhale big here. Release.
How many of you feel sexier now than you did 10 years ago? Raise your hand. Fantastic. I love to see that.
Well, sexy after 40 to me is, I am actually sexier at 52 than I was at 40, and that's with 12 children. And so it just means it's never too late, and that when we start taking care of ourselves, It shows from the inside out. It changes our face, it changes our body when we begin to love ourselves by caring for ourselves.
Oh, sexy after 40 is heaven. Sexy after 40 is being able to walk tall and feel proud. It's feeling healthy, it's feeling vibrant. It's showing the world that you're not over the hill, but you are getting to the top.
Just being able to feel confident, to just stand tall and to feel strong. I was sitting next to a lady last night as you were talking, and she's like, I don't, you raise your hand if you feel sexy. She's like, I don't feel sexy. And I'm like, sweetheart, feel sexy. You're confident, you're strong. It doesn't mean on the outside that you've got to be able to wear lace and skin tight and whatever. You are knowledgeable in your field. You've got grandkids. You are just the power within your home. That is strong and sexy.
The transformation to my body has been huge, and the way I view myself as a woman has changed so much. I feel feminine. I feel proud to wear clothing that reveals my figure. Always before I tried to hide it, but the way that I view myself as a woman and the way I feel about myself, I have more energy, I have more self-confidence, and I love the compliments that my husband gives me.
I didn't expect to be feeling like this after 40. It's just being comfortable with who I am and having an opportunity to speak to other women, not only just women my age, but younger women, because they could have a very different 40 than I had by learning some of the things that we're learning now if they learned younger. So it's just I don't know, being able to feel really good about who I am inside and out.
To me, sexy over 40 is you have confidence that you can live in your own skin.
Sexy after 40 is being confident and just feeling good and just knowing that everything's going to be okay and that, I feel better than I've ever felt in my life by doing the right things, eating the right things, and just learning. And there's power in knowledge. And it's been great.
T-Tapp really is helpful to a woman who's going through changes in their body. It really does work very well. It's very simple to do. Once you get the hang of it, it's a 15-minute routine, and it can truly transform your body and your life and your thinking and help you to go through this kind of awkward time of life a lot easier.
And now I found T-Tapp 6 months ago, and it tweaks everything up another notch. I mean, like, really up another notch. I feel juicier. I feel more alive. That body, brain, physical, spiritual, ideal connection gets better and better.
I'm over 50, so it really feels good to know that I can finally do this again. I'm not going to be 20 again. I'm not going to be 30 again, but I'm going to be me again.
My takeaway from this seminar with Mary Showman and Dr. Gottfried has been there is power in numbers, there is power in information, and there are people out there on the same path I am. I didn't understand thyroid. I've been researching it. I didn't have a clue what the adrenals were. I didn't know how important sleep was. And that's just 3 of the topics. The good food, I had been learning that in the last year. But to understand how it works in our blood, in our muscles, in our lymphatic system, that is priceless.
I would tell the menopausal woman sitting on a couch at 2 in the morning that I'm 53. And when I started this journey in 08, I probably looked 63. And so I've actually I've actually gone backwards. I don't think I look that, I don't feel that old, I don't look that old, I don't even think about it. It's a number. But I don't have hot flashes. I don't I have all that. I'm losing weight for the first time. I've got energy.
Talk about waking up at 3 in the morning. Absolutely was wide awake many nights contemplating what was going to happen in this life. And I asked for help. And the help came at 1 o'clock in the morning watching PBS in Atlanta and saw T-Tapp and present her program. And I said, this is what I need for me. I have got to build that stronger person back. I have lots of things I have to take care of now that I never thought I would. And Teresa put it out there and said, give me 15 minutes a day and let's see what happens. And the greatness is, not only did it do the body, but it helped the soul. And that is the great healing power of putting it all back together.
You know, it's been a game changer. It really has. I have energy I haven't had. I have a future. I was not really looking forward to getting older, and now I realize I can be the grandmother that I really want to be when that time comes. It's exciting.
And we need to take control of our health. We need to know what are the tests that we need, and we need to know something before we go to the doctor's office, because right now the doctors are so short-timed. We only have 5 minutes of time. We need to educate ourselves. Knowledge is what we need. That's the most important piece of information. We need the knowledge.
Well, I think if you're a woman over 40 and you're exhausted, first of all, you need to look at the health issues that may be underlying the exhaustion. The hormones that we talked about in the program, the adrenals, the sex hormones, the estrogen, thyroid, these are also crucial to having energy and being able to maintain energy. You also need to look at your life. Are you balanced? Are you taking out time to rest? Are you taking time to play? Are you taking time to move? Are you taking time to restore yourself, to relax, to do those things that really are going to take care of yourself and rebuild and restore your energy level? And then I think it's also an issue of spirit. Are you taking out time to really restore your spirit? Are you finding those relaxation exercises or those activities that really help you get connected to yourself and to whatever your higher purpose is? So all of those things really are important, I feel. You need to combine them all. You can't just go the health route and assume that that's going to keep you balanced. You can't just go mind, body, or yoga or meditation and assume that that's necessarily going to solve all the problems. I think the best is really a combination, an integration of all of these approaches to really achieve balance that's going to work the best for you.
We are on the precipice of personalized medicine, which is where you know exactly your genetic code, and we're learning how to alter the expression of that code with how you live your life. So it gives you this amazing opportunity to step into a place of empowerment where you're not turning over your health care to your local physician. You're partnering with your healthcare team to figure out how to live as long as possible and to live in a way that is congruent with your values so that you feel your best as you get older.
It's simple. It's mindful movement. Think about it. Brain to body, mind to muscle, ribs up, bend it, keep knees softly bent, don't ever lock the knees. And think about how much better you look and how much better you feel when you have the posture power. Yes, you can, you guys.